The blessing that I've seen with Vocation Ministry and what Rhonda's been about is I can speak to it both as a priest who was the vocation director for his diocese, and then after I became the Bishop of Syracuse, Rhonda came to Syracuse. So I've seen it in two different venues. But what I really want to highlight tonight is what this particular ministry does to excite people. When Rhonda came to the Diocese of Augsburg, I can remember we were probably down to about 3 men in seminary. I could think we had enough in our scholarship fund basically to fund all 3, but 3 wasn't going to cut it. And so when Rhonda came and we began to work with Vocation Ministry, the first primary idea was to get our people thinking about vocations in the parishes. And that's how our parish vocation teams were born. But what I have found so interesting is from the parish vocation team, other endeavors came to, now I call the Diocese of Augsburg, even though I'm not there anymore, but it's vocation friendly. You go to the parishes, they're praying for vocations, they're wanting to sponsor the Operation Andrew dinners, they want to, all of it together. You just see parishes actually, seminarians get notes, they'll receive notes or care packages. And when I say now, I was saying they were 3, and they're up to at least a dozen seminarians, which is a marvelous testimony for a diocese that size. And so I think it's really important just to see on the grassroots level all that happens. In fact, believe it or not, how popular vocations became, I can't even remember the year now, and probably it was about 2015, 2016, we actually filled not the 1932 arena, but the 1980 hockey arena in Lake Placid. We filled it for a vocation event for that diocese. And in filling that particular venue, that's a major thing. Instead of a hockey game, they were all there for one thing, and that was to talk about and to work on vocations. And so that all began because Vocation Ministry, which has its roots right here in Houston, Texas, came to the North Country, as we call the Diocese of Augsburg. And yet, all I've also seen it is in the Diocese of Syracuse. When I became bishop there, all of a sudden I had a new young vocation director, Father Jason Hage. And so he asked me, he said, well, what do you think I should do, Bishop? And I said, call Rhonda Grunwald. I said, I want you to start getting the message out to the parishes. And that's what happened, just by getting people more involved and getting our parishes thinking along the idea of encouraging, birthing vocations, so to speak. I've seen that the number of seminarians in the diocese, well, it's still around 12 right now, but every year we are getting more and more applicants. But some of that comes from, and we haven't seen all the fruits of the endeavors because just last year we began our project with all the school teachers. And the thing is, and it's hard to measure sometimes, but the word I'd like to use is enthusiasm. The enthusiasm that this particular ministry brings to people about calling others to answer their God-given call. Even coming down here for this gathering, I had my superintendent of schools, I said, well, I'm going to see Rhonda tomorrow. And he goes, oh, he says, tell her I said hello. It's been, and Bill's a great guy, but he just seems so calm sometimes, but you start talking about vocations, and he gets all excited. And for me, that's just another testimony of what this is all about. It's about people, making people excited, because God is still calling people in the world today. And that is why we have to help them hear it. And as a bishop, I keep telling my people, we're all in it together. It's not about me. I tell them when I stand in front of them, it's not about me. It's about us. It's about what we can do together. And that's what Vocation Ministry does. And so I can only say thank you to Rhonda and her team, because in 2 dioceses now, I have seen the fruits of it. Sometimes it does, it's like fishing. You don't get the great catch right away. But by persistence, I see the fruit coming about. And so I can only pray that, as we say in Psalm 90, for Rhonda and her team particularly, that the Lord will give success to the work of their hands, and in turn will help us, like Bishop Cahill and myself and our other brother bishops, also to give them success in serving God's people. Thank you.